Hello, YouTubers. I am Angela Logan with Everyday Shenanigans. Sadly, I bring you terrible, terrible news out of Birmingham, Alabama. The Birmingham Police Department gave a press conference at about 8 p.m. that the remains of a child were found in a landfill in a garbage bag. The remains were found in a garbage bag, and they are believed to be the remains of Camille McKinney, aka Cupcake. It is a very sad, somber morning for me. It is very late here in the high 10. I just woke up maybe an hour or so ago because I had not had a lot of sleep anyway. And so I took a late nap. So when I got up, I had, like countless of notifications on my phone, and someone had messaged me that there was a press conference stating that she was deemed deceased. And I'd like to say that it is sad. It is horrific. And the crazy part is you wanted to have hope that she was alive, but so much time had elapsed, a week, maybe it's not a lot to some people, but you always have to use common sense in these cases because as they have stated from statistics that, hour 3, if you don't have any leads, it doesn't look good. But what I am curious about is when did the police know that Camille was no longer living? Because you see, in the past week, we had got so many conflicting information, and mainly was through social media, I will say. And I know that it's not the best source to get anything because people will lie, they will manipulate, they will scheme, scam to get the 5 minutes of fame and get their name out there. But that's all people had to go on because, like I said, I personally did not know the parents, and many people in America did not know these people. Now, there are people who are close to them who may say they knew them or knew of them, but, once again, that was hearsay. But I think what I'm trying to say is that due to the parents' demeanor, that is all people had to go on was what was said. Now, there are people here in this country who knew of the child's disappearance. They didn't follow social media or go on Facebook pages to see what these people were talking about, live feeds, on and on. And why would they? Because it was nothing but a bunch of garbage and shenanigans. And at some point, even when I began to go to the pages just to see what the people were talking about, because commenters on this channel said I should go so I could get more information, I thought it was sickening. The things that were said, the conversations of the live feeds from certain people. And so you have to start to wonder, what in the world was going on with these people in general? Was there any truth to what had been said by these people? And like I said, man, I'm so messed up right now and confused. When did the police know? Why did you tell the public that you had other suspects? Why did you let Mr. Stallworth bond out? See, I feel like that was a grand setup on their part. That's just my opinion. Because I find it odd that you would let him bond out on a Thursday. Friday, you would release the video of the children playing on the playground. Okay? Then you gave a press conference on that Friday that you would be doing a search on Sunday. Now, a few people on social media suspected that she was already deceased. Yes, that's when I got my gut feeling that she was no longer alive, which was Friday. I read a lady's comment on a news page, and she commented that a grid search is usually done only when they think that there is remains to be found. Which, I Googled grid search because I always like to look things up before assuming anything, and it didn't ever say that in the definition of a grid search. It just basically said it's a last attempt to try to locate a person, to do a peripheral of the area where they were last seen. But it never said that this is a search only to recover remains, because I know what the word recovery means. And usually when the media or they get information from the police department that they know of a body being somewhere, they'll say, we're going to do a recovery search. Kind of like when a person drowns in the water, or they were last seen in the water, but now they're not seen. Well, they'll search, get the divers, and then at some point they will tell you, we're now going to do a recovery search. Because after, 24 hours, you already know that person hasn't survived. Really less than that, because once you fall in the water and you can't swim, or you have some type of malfunction under that water, hey, that's it. Anybody with sense know you haven't survived. So I didn't try to dwell on that search, but I was just looking at the timeline of everything. Why did you all let him bond out? Did that girl, Derek, say anything about him being involved? Did she admit that she was involved? Of course, naturally, they don't give us any information. But I just would assume that if anybody was talking pertaining to that child's disappearance and or demise, why wouldn't you tell us something? You've got these people running around here acting cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, looking for her, people talking crazy on social media, arguing and bickering with people on social media, when you knew something. And I understand they have to keep certain things under wraps, but it all looks crazy now, even to me, I speak for myself, that you spin this web that there were other suspects, but you never, now all I'm hearing on this news conference is Derek and Mr. Starworth. And why are you using Derek's name? That girl on social media, on her, was saying that that's not even her name. So if you know that's not her name, why aren't you calling her by her government name, which is Quintessa Jackson, allegedly? See, once again, information I'm getting from Facebook. Information that you don't even hear from a media outlet, which is baffling to me. So when did the girl talk? What day did she say Mr. Stallworth kidnapped her? I also participated. Because see, I already knew that girl, I said this today when I first saw it on my phone when I got up an hour or so ago, I said to myself, that girl, she is not going to sit in that jail and be quiet. If she did, it had to be out of love. Okay? Because who's going to sit there? Your bond's already been revoked for a kidnapping charge, attempted kidnapping charges that you acquired last year for trying to get your kids from a foster home. So you go to jail shortly after this kidnapping. I said, she'll have to talk. She'll be a fool not to. Because she can see she's not coming out of there. Her bond got revoked for trying to talk to witnesses and victims in that kidnapping case. That's how she violated on Sunday, from what the police say. So you see, something just still to me seems not quite right. My opinion. The timeline. I don't understand how that man got out. If you thought he did it, did you let him out so he could lead you to Camille's body? I thought about that, which I thought was a very risky move if that was their motivation. If there's any truth to that. You see, you speculate on things because you don't know anything. And yes, there's all this hoopla about people playing detectives and people doing this and that and saying this and that and going on pages and this and that. Well, you see, as I have stated in my past videos, people were doing all this I Spy because they didn't have anything to go on. And then you all posting all this crazy stuff about the parents on social media, all these different scenarios of who's arguing with who's accusing whom of a setup, who's accusing who of the alleged kidnapping, this and that. And so we fell for it. You ladies saying you saw him that night in the car, you was in a car and you saw him. Now, of course, now people are going to think that you're crazy, that you were trying to get 5 minutes of fame because they arrested these two. You see where I'm going with this? I'm not saying that they lied. I never thought that they lied because I didn't know what was truth or not. Like everything that we've heard. Didn't know if it was about a plug. Didn't know anything because we're going by what other people say. Now, yes, I still feel like something is still amiss and suspect with the parents because of their behavior. But as I had stated in my last video last night, or this morning rather, I said, what if they didn't do it? What if It ain't about the things that they have been accused of or suspected of doing. Revenge plot. I said maybe it was just greed. But what bothers me still now that they've arrested Mr. Stallworth again, why was Dominic making these comments about the baby mother and her trying to ransom off the child? I still find that odd, because let's think about this for a minute. Let's say these two that are in jail, Stallworth and Miss Brown, or whatever her name is, they are behind the kidnapping and murder of this child. Then why would you as a parent try to ransom off your child to the father? And why would the father say that you tried to extort money from him for the child? Do you all see how wicked this still is? If there's truth to what he's saying about her, it's still wicked. Because then that means you two, if you didn't have anything to do with the child's disappearance, then you were playing off of one another at the expense of your child. And to me, that is just as diabolical as the people who are accused of kidnapping and murdering her. I try to keep it 100 with you. As I've stated, I've been on top of this ground 48 years, and there ain't too much I have not seen and experienced in life. And I'm a very intuitive person. And still, when I get the notion that something is not right, I'm usually not wrong. I'm still pondering on those comments that he made about April. Okay? Because I find them more sickening now that the police has given this statement that these two were involved in her kidnapping, murder. So what's up with that comment? Okay? Just a thought for you all. I still believe that others should have been arrested at last week. I still want to know, where does the cousin fall into all of this? Okay? And the mother. Okay? Like I said, even if the mother had nothing to do with the child's disappearance, and now as we see, murder, where were you for your child to be out there alone like that? Where was the cousin who you allegedly left your child with? Why has she not been arrested? Because I feel she is at fault. And I fault the mother as well, because if you had knowledge that she was not a responsible adult, you are a party to this child's demise as well. And now I think back to comments that were made on social media. Why didn't a second child get taken if it was a random kidnapper? A child's a child. A creep's a creep, which is true. You see, that's why people thought it was personal, because they only took Camille. And you have to think about that. Now that the police is saying that these two are the culprits, why did you not take the other little girl? She can see, she's not blind. She could just as well identify you as the child that you stole. So see, this is very weird still. You took one kid. And the thing that's weird and more baffling is that in the video, it shows the two children following the man, or whoever it was, walking behind them as if, like they say, as if they knew him. But yet you only took one child and you left another girl. See, this is still wicked and confusing. Very wicked and confusing. Random people out looking for a child to take for whatever reason. But yet, you come across two. Police assume it was impromptu, not planned, and you leave one child behind. That could easily point you out in a lineup if they take her to the police to say, we're going to show you some pictures. Can you show us who was on the playground that night? Do you all see what I'm saying? Because, I already told you in my video yesterday that Camille being alive was a liability because she could identify her perpetrator, whoever it was. And now you say these two people did it, but they leave another kid who could identify them. That sounds crazy as hell. Crazy. Something still to me ain't right. I could be wrong. Like I said, I'll own it because these are just my perceptions of this case, of information we never got. Okay? So that's all we had to go on were assumptions because we never got anything from the police department. We never got anything from the parents. We never got anything. But I will say this on record and I will check out of here. I feel like many people that night at that housing development, at that party, dropped the ball. Like I said, I understand that it's not your child. She was not your responsibility for her and her brother. I understand all of that, but I also know that when dark 30 hits, you should have been more concerned because she was in and out of an apartment and coming back and forth with no supervision and no one trailing in behind her as an adult. And now that she has been found, or these remains are deemed to be her remains, you have to feel some type of way unless you are an empty vessel. And as far as the parents, I feel like they had a lot of issues going on in their personal life. And it's just like what I said in my video yesterday. Chaos breeds chaos. One thing begets another. That these people, street people, and they had or have a lot of personal issues and problems, which led to this child going missing. Because I'll stand by what I'm saying as far as somebody didn't give enough. Somebody didn't give a damn about her. That's why she got missing in the first place. Because had she been supervised, she wouldn't have gotten missing. Now, were they out searching for a kid to take? Possibly. And there she was. But they still left another one. So you left your child out there to the wolves. I'm going to ride or die on that. Whether they had any involvement, whether her parents had any involvement or not, you still left your child out there. Did you ever inquire about where your child was to the cousin? See, we don't hear nothing about that because we haven't heard anything from the cousin. We haven't heard anything from April to say, hey, I talked to her at this time. She told me they were doing this. The cousin hasn't spoke to say, hey, I was here, I was there, they were here. Nothing. So that's why everybody looks suspect in that family, immediate family, because no one ever spoke up on anything. We're just sitting here waiting for the police to give us something. And then we're listening to all this whack commentary on Facebook about this and that, and then a fake ransom note over the weekend. Then another piece of the note surfaces. I saw that today. Then one of you crazy nuts on there talking about she's in Birmingham. Leave it alone. Yeah, stupid you sound now that her body's been found. Now look how stupid you sound. She's in, not Birmingham, excuse me, I'm sorry, Montgomery. So sorry about that. Why the hell would you go on social media telling people she's in Montgomery? Leave it alone, like you know something. Don't you know the FBI and the police, they are watching you dumbasses talk on there? They're watching. Even if they have an idea of who took her, why, where she was, whatever. Didn't want to tell nobody. You still stupid to be on that Facebook talking about her, and she already dead. That's a fool. You know, it's one thing to give character witness about somebody, but to then just go off on a whim making up stupid stuff about, you saw the kid, you saw him with the kid, oh, he's got her in Montgomery, oh, she's in Atlanta, whatever crazy nonsense. You know, just like I told somebody the other night, where else she gonna say she's at? Poland? What? London? New Mexico? You shouldn't be doing that. You too old for that foolishness. And that lets me know you sick as well as the person who kidnapped her and killed her. You are no better because you're feeding off a tragedy and you're too old for that. And if anything, you should have a heart. Same thing with the person putting up the ransom notes on Facebook with the fake profiles. You're foul and grimy. A lot of you are foul and grimy with all your live feeds and talking about these people and telling stuff, and the friend giving her testimony on there about he's hiding her out and this and that. So see, when you go back, you rewind all that back in your mind and you're trying to figure out, well, what's really the truth? Because you're saying these two that you arrested originally are involved. You've got a body, allegedly, that belongs to the young lady, to the baby. But what about all that stuff these people were feeding us through Facebook? Why would they get up here and say, don't chase him, don't chase him. If you see him with her, don't chase him. Oh, I saw him with the baby. He had her in a sheet. See, now people are going to think all of you all were lying because the police is saying these two did it. And the police in that press conference did not say, oh, and by the way, we're getting ready to go pick up 2-3 more people. I don't know what to think. Because this, even now, after the fact that the body has been discovered, something still ain't proper. And maybe it is just foul ass folks feeding off of a tragedy. Because maybe that's all this is. Foul people reared a child. Foul people didn't feel nothing after she went missing. Foul people fed off the drama to get money. Foul people jumped on to give their commentary off of a missing child. Foul people want 5 minutes of fame. I don't have no respect for none of you. So these are the remains, then so be it. We have to accept that. And as I said, this day was going to come. And I knew it was shortly coming because of that him going free last week, the video footage. I knew it was on its way. I knew it was. And I had said that. It's just sad hearing it now. Till the next time, I am Angela Logan. And I will bring you another video of some mischief and mayhem and shenanigans because it's a crazy world we live in. It's a crazy world we live in. Till the next time. Bye-bye.